Despite not releasing in cinemas around the world, the debut on the Hulu streaming platform could potentially prove to be one of the reasons why the world will get Prey 2.
Why do you want to hunt? Because you all think that I can't.
Along with the strong reception of the movie as well, which was more than enough for me to dive deeper into the potential sequel, give you a first look into things, and tell you everything I know so far. After a long wait, Prey was finally released on the Hulu streaming platform with no big screen release whatsoever. However, despite that, many fans around the world were on the positive side of things and liked the movie all around. But what about a sequel? Will there be one? Maybe it's already in the works, who knows? We will have to wait and see for any confirmations about the wanted sequel, but for now I'll stick toward some of the things that are known about the movie, and some theories here and there, as well as some key elements you might have missed about the first movie that could spell a thing or two about the sequel that is yet to be confirmed. Thus, without further ado, let's dive right in and see where things stand.
I couldn't see it until it was covered in blood, but it looked like a moot beats.
You saw a monster from a children's story?
The first movie, helmed by Dan Trachtenberg, carried both the Comanche and the English language woven into the story that, as it turned out, was a prequel to everything we've seen from the Predator franchise, with the setting of the movie precisely set in 1719. An interesting thing was the dialogue of the movie, which was kept relatively light, which suited the movie, and the story focused more on the heart-racing side of things, with more earthbound stakes at hand. The first movie's heroine was Naru, a Comanche woman portrayed by Amber Midthunder. She aspires to become a hunter, however, in the midst of things, Naru and her people notice that there's an unknown presence in the forest, something that possesses threat to their very existence, a far greater threat than all the bears and wolves up until that point.
There's something out there.
Determined to protect her people, Naru discovers that there's a predator that is not from her world, getting ready to hunt them down by the looks of things. Outside of the setting of the movie, Dan Trachtenberg returns the franchise to its familiar jungle setting, with the reboot presenting itself as a neat reinvigoration of the entire series as well, something that earned the reboot widespread acclaim ever since the first day of the movie's release on Hulu. And with a franchise that is as old as this one, the new life that Prey has given to it is not an easy task to do, so great job for that. A trend that, according to many sources, will continue through the franchise, or should I say, should continue given that a sequel has yet to be confirmed, even after more than 7 months since the release of the first movie.
I don't know that this thing can be killed.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Prey 2, how many people like to call the next installment of the franchise, has yet to be given the green light. However, Dan was not shy to discuss with the public regarding his enthusiasm for further sequels, as well as the ideas he has for those set projects, and where he would like to take the story next. The strong reception of Prey will surely make things easier for a follow-up sequel, as it will likely play a huge role when a decision will have to be made whether to hit that like button just like you should do if you haven't done so already. But no, in reality, whether a sequel to be made, thus it seems like an exceedingly good bet to expect Prey 2 to happen sooner than we think to. The response will likely speed things up with both Hulu and 20th Century Studios, and them not wanting to waste any time getting a sequel underway. Whatever the case may be, my educated guess points towards 2024 or 2025 to be the year in which we'll get to see Prey 2. The first movie doesn't set up a sequel per se, but the movie does conclude in a way to allow the story to progress in different ways, leaving the door open for many different stories to take place, one after another, or two or more at the same time. For instance, this sequel could very well focus on different characters in a different setting and time period, all of the elements needed for us to get yet another fresh look at the reboot of the franchise, everything adding up to a movie that would very well tell a new story throughout, something past Predator movies have done, as well as the success of these movies after their release. On the other hand, if the rumored sequel proves to be a direct one, a continuation of the story, the ending credits of Prey could potentially signal one or more Predators coming, and the Comanches facing another arriving from the stars. The other thing that would play a role in the making of the sequel would be the nature of the franchise, but a returning character for a sequel would also be very well proved to a good move for the fans to see yet another showing of Naru in the role as the protagonist of the story. As for where and when the sequel will fit in the franchise will largely depend on the timeline in which the movie will take place, and seeing Dan's efforts for the prequel, it seems likely that he'll take the franchise more into the past, and whether the sequel involves the return of Naru and other Prey characters or a new protagonist, the sequel could have another prequel, sequel, or something in the middle depending on the specifics of the story and setting of Prey 2. There are a lot of differences between the Predators in the franchise before the reboot and the one we saw in the Prey movie, from the shape of the mask and what it looks like, all the way to the shield that expands from a wrist on the arm. Everything regarding that is cool and all, but according to what I managed to find, it all depends on the technology the species had at the time and how they used it, which is all essentially based on the setting of the movie and where it takes place. Speaking of timelines and all that, there's however one particular object that could prove to be more significant than what we all thought, because by the looks of things, the 1715's flintlock pistol is not any pistol, as the movie reveals it to be the same pistol that previously appeared in 1990's Predator 2 movie. Naru brings back the Predator's head, and the flintlock pistol that by the looks of things belongs to Rafael Adolini, the man who smashed that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. But no, seriously, he's the one who probably lost the pistol to the trappers that Naru and Tab get captured by and used as bait for the Predator. But why is this weapon so important? Well, in Predator 2, a hunter known as Greyback gives this pistol to Mike Harrigan after he defeats the city hunter. In Yautja culture, it's common for predators to give gifts to humans who defeated or aided one of the creatures in combat. But beyond that, many fans were interested in the story behind the flintlock pistol itself, especially after seeing the engraving on it in the latest Prey movie. When the weapon first appeared in Predator 2, fans began speculating on how the Greyback got a hand on the pistol, with the gift itself being a clear answer of how long the Predators had been hunting Earth, leaving the door for a string of storytelling opportunities. 6 years later, after Predator 2, Dark Horse Comics released Predator 1718, a comic that stated Rafael Adolini was a pirate captain whose crew came in contact with a predator on the coast of Africa. After his crew was killed, the pistol is given to the Predator from Adolini as a gift, which is why Greyback is able to give the pistol to Mike Harrigan 300 years later. The thing I want to note is that Prey has disregarded the comic as canon, as the pistol has yet to come into the Predator's possession, a key detail that spawns a sequel, because the Comanche Nation will need to come back in contact with yet another member of the Yautja race, and for the two exchange gifts when that happens. Therefore, things might be looking bleak for Naru if she is to encounter yet another predator in her life. See you in the next video.